mayor who refused to go to officer's funeral calls on cops for help, gets brutal surprise instead. It should come as no surprise that law enforcement officials in New York City are no fans of Mayor Bill de Blasio. For years, there has been tension between City Hall and the police officers who protect and serve their communities. You would think that de Blasio would do whatever he could to ease those tensions, but that would require him to actually care. Those tensions have now only escalated following the murder of New York Police Department officer Myosotis Familia. Last week, after Officer Familia was gunned down in New York, de Blasio chose to fly to Germany in order to protest President Trump's arrival at the G20 summit. Now, Mayor de Blasio just received his payback for his disrespect, and it was all caught on camera. Officer Myosotis Familia was murdered on July 5 when she was shot in the head through her vehicle's window. 2 other officers rushed to the scene and they were able to shoot and kill the suspect, Alexander Bonds. Shortly after Familia was rushed to the hospital, she succumbed to her injuries. After the brutal murder, Night Police Commissioner James O'Neill said, "It is clear that this was an unprovoked direct attack on police officers who were assigned to keep the people of this city safe." Soon after, Mayor de Blasio held a press conference to talk about the tragic death of the murdered officer. De Blasio said, "She was on duty, serving the city, protecting people, doing what she believed in and doing the job she loved." After this sudden and shocking attack, her fellow officers came to her aid immediately. However, soon after making that short speech, de Blasio hopped the plane and headed over to Germany to protest President Trump, instead of staying behind for Officer Familia's vigil. Today was Officer Myosotis Familia funeral, where hundreds of police officers, friends and family paid their final respects. However, when Mayor de Blasio rose to the podium to speak to the crowd, several hundred cops turned away in protest. Here is more from the New York Post. Scores of officers who assembled outside the World Changers Church in the Bronx for assassinated police officer Myosotis Familia on Tuesday protested the mayor by showing the building their backs as speakers broadcast Hitsona's eulogy from inside. The move was reminiscent of the funeral for slain officer Wen Jianlu in 2015, who was also executed by a cop-hating madman. The officers chatted with one another or swiped through their phones during the mayor's snub. The protest comes after de Blasio skipped town to participate in G20 summit protests in Germany on Thursday, the day after Familia, a 12-year department veteran and mother of 3, was killed by maniac gunman Alexander Bonds. "Mr. Mayor, you didn't have to travel to Germany for a protest, all you had to do was speak in front of the men and women of the NYPD," Sergeants Benevolent Association President Ed Mullins said. Police promptly turned around when it was announced the police commissioner was next to speak, but not all resumed paying attention. A de Blasio spokesman downplayed the police snub at his boss. "A couple dozen people showed up to partake in a bogus controversy ginned up by the media and those looking to politicize Detective Familia's death. That's unfortunate," Rep. Austin Finnan wrote in an email to the Post. The mayor, police commissioner and thousands of police officers from the city and beyond attended today's service in solidarity to pay their respects and honor Myosotis Familia. Of course, de Blasio's spokesman would try to downplay this event, but it is hard to cover up the number of police officers that have an unfavorable view of de Blasio. In fact, according to a poll conducted last year, 97% of cops said that de Blasio has created an environment where criminals feel emboldened, while 95% said he has established an environment that is combative to police. That seems to be an overwhelming percentage of police officers who do not like de Blasio. For years, de Blasio has been pushing his disgusting anti-police rhetoric of police racism and discrimination. Is it any wonder why there is an increase of violence against law enforcement then? It is obvious that de Blasio is a traitor not only to America for protesting President Trump overseas but also his despicable actions after Officer Familia's death. Mayor de Blasio should have stayed in New York and comforted the family, and renounced the violent actions against police officers. There was no reason that he needed to go to Germany and act like an absolute fool in front of the entire world. which is exactly why we need to vote out these disgusting traitors in order to get our country back on track. These liberal dolts continue to scream that they are the resistance against conservatism. Well, I have news for you liberals. The conservative voice has been awakened and we can resist your disgusting liberal mentality too, and we are in the lead. Share if you think that Mayor de Blasio is a traitor and deserves to be voted out. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Breaking News 365 channel. Goodbye and see you again.